So, hello everyone. I think in the last session we have gone through the derivations of some important plane figures on centroid. Okay, so now by using the tabular column what I have sent, okay, in which you will get the centroids of different plane figures, okay, you can solve some of the problems. Now, problems on the centroid. Okay, before going to the problem, okay, there are some steps to be followed for solving the problem. Okay, so first one is the centroid always lies on the symmetrical axis. You have to remember that if the given figure is symmetrical about any axis, okay, you have to remember that centroid will always lie on the symmetrical axis. Okay, so in such a case what you have to do, identify the symmetrical axis if any, and choose them as the reference axis. Okay, so if there are any symmetrical axis, you have to identify them and choose them as the reference axis. Okay, next, if there is no symmetrical axis available in the given figure, okay, then you have to choose the left hand bottom corner of the given figure. Okay, left hand bottom corner of the given figure as the origin, so that the entire figure lies in the first quadrant. Okay, as you can see, so this is your first quadrant. Okay, so as you know, in the first quadrant both x-axis and y-axis will be having the positive values. Okay, hence you have to choose the left hand bottom corner of the given figure as the origin, so that the entire figure lies in the first quadrant, so that you can avoid the negative centroidal values. Okay, then subdivide the given figure into known geometrical shapes and identify their individual centroid by denoting with Ci, where I is the number of subdivided shapes. Okay, so if, for example, if it is given that I section is given to you, okay, if I section is given to you, you have to subdivide this I section into three rectangles. This is first rectangle, this is second rectangle, and this is third rectangle. Okay, so let me have, if it is I section, so it is I section given to. Okay, so instead of taking the whole I section, let us divide into first rectangle, and this is another rectangle, second one, and this is another rectangle, third rectangle. Okay, so in such a way you have to divide the given figure, okay, into the known shapes. Okay, if it is given like this, if there is a triangle given to you like this, the given figure is like this. Okay, so you have to divide this into one rectangle and another one is triangle. Okay, so if in the same figure, if it is given another semicircle like this, you can take this as third one is semicircle. So known shapes. Okay, so one is rectangle, one is semicircle, and one is triangle. Like this you have to subdivide the given figure into number of shapes. Okay, then enter the values in the tabular column as shown below. So first, okay, you have to enter the values in the tabular column. In that first column is component, second one is area, third one is centroidal distance from y-axis, centroidal distance from y-axis. Okay, so from y-axis means it is always x distance, from y-axis means it is always x distance. Then centroidal distance from x-axis. Okay, so from x-axis means it is always a y distance. Okay, that is y. Then area into x distance and area into y distance, you have to multiply them. Okay, after knowing all these values of different components, you have to make the sum of all those, summation of area of all those and summation of a into x, summation of a into y, so that you will get the centroid of the whole figure. Okay. Next point is indicate the calculations, like enter x into y values for area and then enter the result. Okay, don't enter result directly. Okay, if you are writing the area value here, okay, if it is a rectangle, so if it is a rectangle, so what you will get, area of a rectangle is equal to length into breadth. Okay, so in writing this value, okay, you have to write it as L into B is equal to result, how much area you will get. Okay, so don't write directly L into B is 4 meters square, directly you don't write. Okay, 2 into 2 is equal to 4, like that you have to enter the values of area. Okay, and also for the centroidal distances, enter the equation with the substituted numerical values. Okay, so in writing the centroidal distance also, you have to write how much distance is it from the x-axis or from the y-axis by writing the numericals accurately. Okay, then the areas are negative if hollow sections are there in the problem. If a hollow section is present in a problem, the area what you will get, you will have the negative areas. Okay, and the centroidal values are also negative if they are below the x-axis or left of the y-axis. Okay, so that means, as you know, we have selected the left bottommost corner. Okay, this is x-axis and this is y-axis. Okay, so if the given figure is in this section, okay, if the figure is below this x-axis, you will get the negative centroidal distance. If it comes beside this y-axis also, you will get the negative value only. Okay, so next step is the centroidal value of the triangle. Centroidal value of the triangle is always 1/3 the length from the base. Okay, for a triangle, the centroidal distance is always equal to 1/3 the length from the base and 2/3 the height from the apex. Okay, so if it is a triangle, as you can see, it is always from the base, it is always equal to 1/3 the length. Okay, from this apex point, it is always equal to 2/3 the height from the apex. Okay, then the centroidal value of a semicircle is always measured as 4r divided by 3 pi from the base. Okay, so as you can see, it is a semicircle. Okay, the centroidal distance of the semicircle is always measured as 4r by 3 pi. Okay, from the base, it is equal to always 4r divided by 3 pi, normal to the base. That means this is or along the symmetrical axis, this is symmetry about the y-axis. Okay, so it is equal to 4r divided by 3 pi. Okay, so these are some of the points to be remembered for solving the centroidal problems.